Before we wrap up this year's In the Garden series, there's one last thing to tell you before gardeners can get some rest. That's pruning. Anchor Chelsea Deffenbacher brings you all the tips in this week's In the Garden, sponsored by Jonson Brothers Garden Market.
I'm here with Caleb Jonson out of Jonson Brothers Garden Market, and it's time to prune our plants. So you want to walk us through how to do that?
Yeah, so three of the most common plants that people ask for pruning advice for the winter are roses, blueberries, and fruit trees. So I thought we could just do a quick tutorial on each one, and that way when it's time to prune after they've lost their leaves, everyone's ready to go.
Sounds good. All right, where do we start?
So first we want to start with getting a pair of pruners, and a couple things with your pruners. You want to sterilize them, so get some disinfectant spray so you're not spreading disease in between pruning. And then I also like to get some oil on the pruners as well, so that'll help kind of grease it up. And then also we sell these little, and you can get them other places, these little sharpeners, which will definitely help with your pruning process. So if you have a sharp, clean, oiled up pair of pruners, your pruning, or loppers, your pruning is going to go a lot easier. So that's number one, is get your pruners ready to go.
All right.
So first up, roses. So a lot of times roses seem intimidating because they're kind of a lot of growth, a lot of stuff on them, but really what you want to think is getting them down to like a claw shaped plant. So you want to remove branches in the middle. You want to leave 3 to 5 of the larger canes, and you want to cut those down somewhere between 6 and 8 inches so that you just have kind of like a stubby little plant sticking up. And the reason you want to have the shorter canes versus a lot of times people think they want to have the longer canes is it's less energy for the plant to push up new growth and new buds if those canes are shorter and smaller versus leaving 2 or 3 foot tall canes. That plant has to send energy all the way up those canes. So if by cutting the rows down now, you're going to have a bigger, better, fuller blooming rose bush for the spring.
All right. And then this plant isn't quite ready to be pruned, right?
Yeah, we want to wait for all these plants till they're completely dormant, which every year varies a little bit here in the Willamette Valley, but typically sometime in November through January would be great times to prune these plants.
Okay.
So blueberries. Now blueberries you're not going to get quite as aggressive on. Blueberries, you really want to just lightly top and shape them. And you want to remove some of these branches that are down low, because as they fruit and leaf, they're just going to be touching the ground, and that's not really what you want for harvesting blueberries. So remove those lower branches. You want to remove some of these weak, small, brittle branches and branches in the middle. So you kind of open it up so there's plenty of sunlight and airflow. You want to shape it up, and you want to prune out any dead or low growing branches. Now blueberries also are not very aggressive growers, so you don't want to prune them back really hard, otherwise you might be taking away 2 or 3 years worth of growth on the plant. So a little bit gentler on the blueberries, more to shape.
All right, and then what about the fruit tree?
Yes, so fruit trees, kind of similar to blueberries. You want to look for removing some of these lower branches that are growing maybe down, any branches that are crisscrossed growing with each other. Those are going to just be competing for light and resources and space, so you want to remove those. And then the other thing I look for is the leader on the plant. So there's a kind of a main stem that goes up. You want to kind of keep that going up, and sometimes you'll get these competing leader branches. You want to prune those out or down, and then you're going to just kind of lightly top the tree and edge the tree for shape. So again, removing the dead, broken, crisscrossing branches, keeping your leader going straight up and down, and then just shaping the other branches, keeping them pruned down so that you can continue to harvest the fruit without going way up on a ladder, because if you just let your fruit tree go 2 or 3 years, next thing you've got fruit that's really hard to get picked.
Well, that's going to do it for In the Garden. Back to you in the studio.